And I want to talk about Aboriginal art. Now, they've got this thing where if you're certified Aboriginal, then you've got certified Aboriginal art. You can do certified Aboriginal art, and it's certified, it's bona fide that it's been done by an Aboriginal. And they've obviously got a process where they, through their local Aboriginal centre or whatever, they can get certified. And then all of a sudden the price goes up because it's legit, so they say. But unfortunately, I've seen recently, went into a store down here that sells so-called Aboriginal art, done by real Aboriginals, but they're doing it for the tourists, and they ain't doing it traditionally how their blooming stuff was in this store. Now, the store owner was in there rabbiting onto someone, you can tell that's legit because they've got their blooming, their certification stamp on the back and blah, 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 blah. Look, when I start seeing pink dots, hot pink, and purple, and, pictures of a lovely sunset with an Aboriginal man's face close up that have been painted, that may be a painting done by Aboriginals, but it's not Aboriginal art. It's just art done by an Aboriginal, which is not different, not much different to, I don't know, concreting done by an Aboriginal. You can say it's Aboriginal concreting. Well, yeah, it's just concreting, and a lot of these things, they start to sell things which show kangaroos or Aboriginal man's face close up or these magical sunset, or they still have their traditional stuff, but then it's all in these fluorescent colours, and, fluorescent hot pink is not a traditional Aboriginal colour. Surprisingly enough, they didn't have any way of making hot pink back in the day before white man for their paintings. So, I hate to say it, but I've seen a lot of stuff just made for the tourist market that the tourists love, but is not a legit piece of Aboriginal art in my eyes. It's just art done by an Aboriginal. Now, the proper Aboriginal art that I've seen as a kid and stuff like that, they have these ochre pits, which are basically areas where they get different colours of earthy colours. I think white may even be one of the colours, because you do get white rocks. And, well, there's even white clay over in the corner of my father's place. It's sort of a bit grey, but sort of whitish, and where they were originally on the other property, that had white clay. And basically, they grind up a lot of these different things that they get out of these ochre pits. These ochre, I think, is a kind of rock, I forget now. But they basically grind this stuff up, mortar and pestle style or something like that, and get themselves different earth colours. There'll be sort of a, very reddish brown, or, sort of, dark brown and lighter colours and white and all these stuff. And then they do these whole paintings with their finger. And it'll be a series of lines and dots, and the whole lot of it is, lines and dots. And they'll show, in some of these paintings, they'll paint a kangaroo, and it'll literally show the kangaroo's guts. That they'll have little lines and little dots to show that's its guts. And, I've even seen ones of, I don't know if it's like a guide to reproduction or something, but it's some sort of a figure who helps, fertility or whatever. And they showed that with great big jugs, and I think it had a uterus and a whole lot drawn in there. But they have these very bizarre looking faces when they do some of these Dreamtime sort of gods or whatever you want to call them, figures. But yeah, some of these ones they do with the, snakes and a kangaroo and a this and a that are all, very nice, and I like that sort of art. But as soon as they get out with the hot pinks and then the other ones that just look like a painting anyone else has done, yeah, that's not real to me. It's not real Aboriginal art. Not like the stuff I've seen coming from Aboriginals where I grew up and stuff like that. It's all lines and dots and it's the whole thing. And then they usually fill half of the rest of it in with dots as well. So it's almost solid lines and dots all over the place. Almost reminds you of a mosaic in a way. But yeah, that is traditional Aboriginal art. And you may be able to get a piece that's certified, but if there's anything other than earth colours, it's not actual real Aboriginal art. It's just art done by an Aboriginal. That's my view anyway, because quite frankly it's disappointing to see all this stuff just done for the tourist market. That's what the tourist wants to see, not what is traditionally real stuff. Now, they also used to use a lot of these paintings themselves back in the days before, in the dream time, in the days before white men come, and these paintings, you could basically follow your fingers over it and point to this part of the painting and that part and that part and that part, and it basically was a whole story, and it was a guide to this story, or as a visual display of this story. And then you'd, under this done to this and that done that, and boom, 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 and then and the kangaroo done this and that went into its belly, and that's why they've drawn the intestines in the kangaroo, because the kangaroo's belly is part of the story. And and they basically, the whole painting would tell a story, and that's how they'd hand down the stories from generation to generation. That would assist in handing down the stories from generation to generation, and they're all just word of mouth. And do they have a written language? Not really, no. They have a few where people have been asked to translate the Bible into Aboriginal, so they just say to the Aboriginal, we want to say this, how do you say that in Aboriginal? So they'd say it back, and they'd say, and they do the whole lot in the native tongue, and then these people would just say, if he went, Garabara, you would literally see Gadababa, Garababa written on the page. That's a tacky white man's way of trying to be able to re-say the Aboriginal language, but essentially no, they didn't have a written language. It was all paintings and storytelling, and they would still tell the stories from the paintings.